Welcome back to Temple in the Broad Street. This is episode 8, the 9 Pillars of Society. This is the synopsis of the full episode that will be up on Patreon by the time this drops on all platforms. So let's begin. 9 Pillars of Society. We explore this in depth, and the full episode is again on Patreon, available now. The 9 pillars or foundational building blocks of a society. We have 1, politics. We have 2, religion. We have 3, sex. We have 4, war. The 5th building block or pillar is economy. The 6th is education. The 7th is equality. The 8th is labor. And the 9th is the law. These 9 pillars are the foundational building blocks to any society. If you control these building blocks or foundational pillars, then you control the society. And this is part of our greatest sin. We have relinquished control of our societies because we do not, as a people, control these building blocks or foundational pieces of a society. Politics. We don't control the elections. They are already decided before we ever cast a vote. And casting a vote is submitting to a foreign jurisdiction. I feel like at times I sound like a foreign or a broken record. But that's okay. If I have to continuously repeat the truth for others to get it, then I've done my job. 2, the second building block or pillar of society. Religion. All of our religions have been tools of conquest, meaning they use the religion to take over new lands. And the religions are fragmented pieces of mystery systems that have been altered and doctored and changed to support their agendas. The 3rd pillar of society, sex, confusing the masses and misrepresenting the genders, making the union of man and woman an oddity, making us compete against one another as if we don't need one another to even engage in the union of having a sexual relationship. This has all been the trick of the serpent seed. 4th pillar of society, war. All wars are unnecessary first and foremost, but they make them necessary because they are tools of their own power, tools of their own deception to deceive the people. People think that the wars they propagate on their platforms are real wars. However, the outcomes have already been decided. They are helping both sides of the war, and there's always a third side that you are unaware of. That is the real benefiting party in the war itself. 5th pillar of society, economy. They have weaponized our economy against the people. Every time you turn around, inflation increases. Every time you turn around, the wealth gap increases. Every time you turn around, the people who go out and work for a living become more and more of the working poor class. There's no middle class. There's only very wealthy who, at the heights of society and financial wealth, they don't even use money. But we have to go to work for money to survive. Let that sink in. The 6th pillar of society, education. All of our education has been indoctrination to the deceptions and the lies of the serpent seed. Our history is not accurate. Our sciences are not accurate. Our mathematics are not accurate. Our English is a bastardized language. And this has all been purposeful to make you what they want you to be. Seventh pillar of society, equality. Equality does not exist in a democracy. Again, a democracy is a tool of communism, which all derives from Zionism. You should view or look up what Zionism is. Eighth pillar of society, labor. Labor has been forced upon the people for rogue patriarchs who are the leaders or owners of the corporations of this land. And the corporations govern the courts. The bankers govern the courts. And the corporations are tools of the bankers. You see how it all goes together? It ties in, one another helps the other. But it's all to deceive you. The ninth pillar of society, law. This is a foreign jurisdiction. We are occupied people in our land. We are all prisoners of war. Slavery did not exist. We are not descendants of slaves. This was a lie in our education. The sixth pillar of society. They told us that we were descendants of slaves. If they told us and sold us that fabricated all-out lie that we descended from slaves, African slaves who came on slave ships from Africa to here, if that's the lie that they sold us all in all of our history classes, then why would we believe or why would we think that we were taught anything for our benefit in any other class? If that's what they sold us in history, why would they be truthful or teach us anything that was going to truly benefit us in any other class, any other subject? Why? How does that compute? How does that add up? If that's the lie that they would feed to us, in that regard, then you have to assume that everything that they have ever taught us was a fabrication. And I know it's scary for some people to acknowledge the fact that, hey, everything that I went to school to learn and I worked hard and studied to pass exams and et cetera, it was all bullshit. But that is the truth. And truth changes not. Truth is art, and it changes not. It's all for you to be a cog in that system. Control of these 9 pillars are what we as a collective have to take back. That is how we regain control of our communities, control of our cities, control of our states. This is where the power lies within a societal structure. Imagine society being a building, a beautiful building constructed elaborately with many different corridors and much beauty and much elegance. And this is the goal, or should be the goal, of the societal building that we construct as a people, as a civilization, to build a beautiful structure with elaborate hallways and stairs and colors and art, etc. Beautiful. Whatever your version of beauty is, this should be our goal as a people, as a civilization. Building that type of site is only possible with control of these 9 pillars of society. We cannot build a beautiful structure like that without control of these 9 pillars of society. When we relinquish control of these 9 pillars, we are relegated to what has been built for us. Allowing others with our best interests not at heart, allowing beings that mean to subjugate us, control these building blocks, these 9 pillars of society. This is exactly how a prison, bland gray and completely lacking of beauty, has been constructed right before our very eyes. Instead of an elegant, beautiful building, we have a prison, cold gray, cement, one color, no elaboration, no creativity, just 4 walls and a ceiling, and a big building to lock and trap your soul within, because that is their goal. And again, the prison built for us instead of the beautiful, elegant building is all of our faults. It is all of our responsibility as a people to fix if we hope for brighter and better days ahead. This prison that has been built for us, it is our responsibility that it has been built right before our very eyes, behind our backs, because we gave them the power to build it instead of building it for ourselves. Instead of an entrepreneurial mindset, we took the lazy way out and gave people the power over us and trusted them to do right by us. How naive. If you have hope for the future, if you have hope for what you leave to your children, the future you leave to your children, you would do whatever is necessary to gain back control of the building blocks of society, or the 9 pillars of society. If you have any hope for your children, this would become your mission in life. And again, this starts and it ends with the eradication of ignorance. If you know not the law, how can you take advantage of the loopholes? How can you take advantage of the language? How can you take control of the law if you cannot govern in accordance because you are ignorant? Let's say the serpent seed got right out of our way, and now we inherit the earth realm, which is going to happen. If you are an ignorant being, then how are you going to accurately govern a society? How are you going to run a government? How are you going to be a leader within your community? Eradication of ignorance. The eradication of ignorance and unawareness to the fact that the people we put in charge, the plans that they have us all perpetuating, are nothing but servitude to their agendas. They mean us no good. They only mean us harm. So we have to take back our power, and it starts within your own being. As above, so below. If you conquer your mind, you will conquer the world without. That is the simulation. If you say, I'm not going to be a slave and subject to anybody else's jurisdiction, your life would fall in alignment with that thought. The thought was the cause of it all. Again, this has been a temple in a broad street. And this is episode 8, the 9 pillars of society, the preview or synopsis. The full episode is on Patreon. And I thank you all for your time. Know thyself. Purge all ignorance, all fear, and all doubt.